Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with the Atlanta Falcons. And I honestly don't know how to grasp the Falcons this year. They weren't terrible. There there were signs of greatness with this team, but they weren't ready to take that next level. Like there was a point where Tampa could have easily won the division. Atlanta could have easily won the division, but I think in the end they just got in their own way. Maybe they weren't ready for it yet. Who knows? Falcons, this was just a weird year for them. Last year, they won 7 games, and I think I had them at a pretty low record for them last year. But they got off to an 0-2 start, nearly blowing. They blew a game against the Saints. They almost came back from a 28-3 deficit against the Rams until crisis got inverted. Beat the Seahawks on the road, beat the Browns at home, but they got screwed over against Tampa Bay week 5. If you know, you know. Stunning the 49ers. I think the Niners were hobbled in that game. Getting destroyed by the Bengals. Beating the Panthers thanks to their own incompetence. Losing to the Chargers where the Chargers won on the last second field goal. Losing to the Panthers again. Beating the Bears where Cordero Patterson broke the record for most kickoff returns for touchdowns. For entering a 4-game losing streak where the coach decided to see if Desmond Ridder is their guy. And honestly, I don't know if Desmond Ridder's the guy yet. I haven't seen much of him to say otherwise. Okay, let's take a look at some highlights for this team. And one of them was beating the 49ers in week 6. If you know, the Niners made another deep postseason run, and in long sight, this looked very good. Granted, the 49ers, I think they were hobbled in this game. I think they had several injuries to occur for them. But, hey, you got to win over elite defense. That's good for Atlanta. Overcoming the Panthers in week 8. If you don't know, the Panthers scored a game-tying touchdown with DJ Moore with seconds to spare, only for have him take off his helmet that gave them a 15-yard penalty, and that led Eddie Pinheiro to miss the extra point. But in overtime, Mariota throws an interception, and the Panthers drove down the field to try and get the win over Atlanta. Eddie Pinheiro misses. Then Young Ho Koo, only for the Falcons, kicked the game-winning field goal for them, and what do you know? The Falcons won that game. On Mariota's birthday, by the way. And then they finally beat Tom Brady in week 18. Their first ever win against Tom Brady. I know, but granted, I know the Bucks rested their starters in the second half, but let the Falcons have this moment. Now for some lowlights. Kyle Pitts. He was severely underused last year. I mean, for one, he was in and out of the lineup with injuries. But even when he was on the field, he was pretty much a lost soul. He was obviously a fantasy disappointment for 2022. And then what you see to us to the right. Grady Jarrett sacked Tom Brady. Falcons were going to get the ball until the refs blew the whistle, calling it roughing the passer on one of the softest penalties I have ever seen. That was not roughing the passer. Falcons never got the ball back. They lose because of it. Thank you, refs, for giving Tom Brady a win he did not deserve. And then there's the benching of Mariota. Mariota, after the Steeler game, he got benched, as it said, as coach was ready to see if Desmond Ridder has what it takes to become their guy. But after that, it's more so what happened after Mariota got benched. He left the team, and he was placed on injured reserve. Quote unquote, he was injured, but he basically left the team, quit on the team, and as a result, he was released released by the franchise to join the Eagles. And that actually segues us to the additions and subtractions. And they did a lot. They did more than what you think. For one, Desmond Ritter is going to have to compete with Taylor Heineke for the starting job. They also acquired Jonnu Smith from the Patriots. He was underused there. Scotty Miller, formerly of the Bucks, joins their receiving core. Calais Campbell, he's probably going to finish his career with the Falcons, joining from Baltimore. David Onyemata, he's joining from the Saints. And Bud Dupree was a cap casualty of the Titans, rejoining Arthur Smith with the Falcons. Even though I believe he wasn't part of that Arthur Smith defense. Just a Titan connection. And the only known loss was Marcus Mariota, as I already said. But on draft night, things took a controversial turn. They took a running back with the 8th overall pick, overlooking their obvious pass rush needs for the 5th year in a row. But they had a good reason. Bijan Robinson is the best back on the board, one of the best players on the board. You had to take him there. Even though they had Tyler Algier, who was a 1,000-yard back, who knows? This could be a running team. I'm not seeing. A lot of people really called out this pick. I kind of didn't mind it for the Falcons. But they also took Zach Harrison, a defensive end from Ohio State, and Clark Phillips, a cornerback from Utah. Two guys who, before the season, was mocked in the first round, but fell to their own reasons. But hey, the Falcons, they have a chance to take the leap, in my opinion. But can they take the leap? Let's take a look. Okay, Atlanta, let's take a look at your schedule. And based on what I've done, I've already done 10 of their games up to this point. But we're still going to go game by game. So, week 1, I have them beating the Carolina Panthers and beating the Green Bay Packers to start off 2-0. And then I have them losing to the Detroit Lions on their first road game. Then week 4, they got to go to London to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to give that one to Jacksonville. Then they have the Houston Texans. And I think the Falcons are just experienced enough to win that one. And then against the Washington Commanders, this is one of those toss-up games. But since the Falcons are at home, I am going to lean towards Atlanta. So Atlanta to a pretty good start, 4-2 start. I got them losing to Tampa Bay, losing to the Tennessee Titans, losing to the Vikings, and losing to the Cardinals, which that will be probably their first one of the season. So at the bye week, they're at 4-4 or 4-5. Then against the New Orleans Saints, this one's at home. I got them splitting with the Saints this year. I'm going to go ahead and give them a win there. Against the New York Jets, I got to pick the Jets here. And then against Tampa Bay, I got them beating them. I got them losing to the Panthers. But against Indianapolis, I got the Colts winning on the road. Because I think the Colts, by that time, will start figuring things out. Before giving them a loss to the Bears and a loss to New Orleans Saints. Their record at 6-11. And which kind of disappoints me because I think the Falcons going to be much better than what people think. People tend to forget about the Atlanta Falcons. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what record you think the Falcons are going to have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.